Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, we're going to talk about Brian Kelly to Michigan. Are you serious?
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
And also, turns out Bob Stoops excited to see Heupel. I find that hard to believe. I really do. Stoops is excited. He fired the guy. We're going to get into both those stories here in just a second. And this is on a site, Old Hotty Toddy by Jordan Merritt. Said, could Ole Miss be facing a new head coach at LSU in 24? Said, despite the 2023 season still not being over, and of course Michigan is sitting in the playoff right now with their boy Jim Harbaugh.
It's got to be America's team.
Rumors are circulating in college football. Said last night an LSU radio host dropped a nugget about the Tigers head coach Brian Kelly. It's been happening on and off for a few seasons. As soon as an NFL job opens up, Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh's name circulates. Says once again, Harbaugh is being linked to the NFL with a knock-on effect on other jobs in college football. LSU radio host Matt Moscona spoke about the possibility of Brian Kelly leaving LSU for Ann Arbor. He said if Michigan pursues Brian Kelly, he would leave LSU for Michigan. I am confident in saying that. He said there's a couple of people in coaching that told me, hey, watch out for Brian Kelly. He's not a perfect fit there in Baton Rouge. He might be pursuing that Michigan job if it comes open. And it talks about a domino effect, which that typically happens. One coach leaves, somebody's got to replace, then somebody's got to replace that guy. Says the domino effect would have to start with Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan. And we know Harbaugh has not signed his extension. He's been offered 10-year, $125 million, which would make him the highest paid college coach out there. Now, of course, Nick Saban would have to adjust his pay because he has to be the highest paid, but it would eclipse Dabo Swinney, who got a like $115 million deal. It says don't expect news anytime soon. Well, you got to see what happens with the playoff. But Jim Harbaugh has not signed his extension because it has a clause in there. It says you cannot entertain or obviously take an NFL job in 2024, and he doesn't like that provision because he probably sees the handwriting on the wall that he's going to get suspended or something along those lines or may get a show cause. And he's like, I don't want to be sitting on the sidelines for 1 year or 2 years, however long he has to sit on the sidelines and not coach. He's not that type of personality. Says, however, with the sign-stealing allegations surfacing a few months ago, it could be time for Harbaugh to start fresh. And it says, Brian Kelly has not won many LSU fans over during his 2 seasons as Tigers head coach. It'll be interesting to hear how the rumors are perceived in Baton Rouge. Could Ole Miss face their third LSU coach in 2024? Brian Kelly leaving for Michigan wouldn't shock me. He's not a good fit in LSU. He's just not. You know, he tried to fake that accent down there and tried to act like he's from Louisiana.
Little thing. Now we win a kind of we go. That way I got buco la man.
When he first got down there, look, you can't fake that. I know lots of people from Louisiana, and they know originality when they see it, and they know when somebody's faking. I just don't think he fits down there. I really don't. And look, they didn't win a ton of games this year, and they had the best quarterback in the country by far. There's probably some concern down there because their defense stinks. It's just terrible. I don't understand how you can possibly have a bad defense at LSU when they literally have 5-star after 5-star in the state of Louisiana, and most of them are defensive backs. So we'll see what happens with that. But this whole Jim Harbaugh thing, it's going to affect a ton of things because Michigan won't stand pat. If he does take an NFL job, they're obviously going to go after some big-time coach, and Brian Kelly sounds like he'd probably be the ideal fit for him. Now we're going to talk about Bob Stoops being excited to see Josh Heupel.
You serious?
And you got to realize there's a lot of history with Bob Stoops and Josh Heupel. Stoops fired him in 2014. And here's why Josh Heupel's ticked off about it. They don't have a relationship.
Okay.
They don't. And I'll show you exactly why. And this is a story by Zach Reagan in A to Z Sports. It says Stoops replaced Heupel, who led Oklahoma to a national championship as the program's starting quarterback in 2000. He replaced him with Lincoln Riley ahead of the 2015 season after Heupel's offense averaged 36.4 points per game, number 21 in the nation. But here's the part that matters. The defensive coordinator was his brother, Mike Stoops. And there's tons of Stoopses. There's Bob Stoops, there's Mark Stoops, there's Mike Stoops. There may be more Stoops for all we know. Well, anyway, Mike Stoops was number 56 in the country in defense. So he fired the number 21 offense in the country and let the number 56 defense in the country, the coach there, stand pat. That's what's known as nepotism. Now, Lincoln Riley wound up becoming the head coach in 2017 or 18, and then he fired Mike Stoops and sent him packing, and then Mike took off and found his brother, Mark Stoops, and he's the linebacker coach at Kentucky, where he will never be fired unless Mark Stoops gets fired. So they've got it figured out with the whole nepotism thing.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Now, here's what Bob Stoops said, and Bob Stoops probably feels bad about what he did to him, but he said everyone thought that Josh took that job, all the sanctions at Tennessee, all the penalties and turmoil they were in from recruiting violations, didn't realize he could get it going that fast. Said Stoops. He said, I anticipated just for those reasons that it was going to take a little bit, but he's overcome them quickly. What will matter, I think, a little bit is who graduates, who are the seniors leaving, who's back, but Josh and his staff have done a great job. I know he'll have an incredible reception here at OU when he enters the field, and he should. That'll be exciting. So again, this is a guy that won the national title there as a quarterback, and he did a fine job as an offensive coordinator and was probably hamstrung by Bob Stoops, I would think, and a crappy defense that his brother ran. And now, what's Josh Heupel done? He's been in the top 5 in offense almost every year, except this year. He was number 1 in 2022, number 7 the year before that. So he's a great offensive mind. And we'll be back in the top 5 with Nico next year, in my opinion. That's what I think will happen. We had a little bit of a down year this year, and he's got a good quarterback in Joe Milton, but he's not the right fit for the Vols offense. He's just not. They need a guy that's elusive in the pocket and got a little more touch on the ball and can be a little bit quicker. Although I do think Joe Milton will find a home in the NFL. He'll probably be a backup quarterback there, which is honestly the best job in the world. You'll make millions of dollars. You'll wear a cap. You'll have a clipboard in your hand, and occasionally you'll go in and look good. Now, that's pretty much the life of a backup quarterback in the NFL. It's kind of ideal. The only thing better than that's maybe a punter, but punters don't make as much money as backup quarterbacks. So anyway, those are the 2 big stories today. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover all these big stories. Of course, my Vols, SEC, and gosh, I can't stop looking away from the Michigan stuff. It's amazing.
It's got to be America's team.
And also that FSU story. I want to stay on top of that one too. That one blows my mind. And if you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button. I would appreciate it. Cost you nothing. It'll help you get my videos if you like keeping up with this type of stuff. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And I hope y'all have a great Christmas. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Merry Christmas! Dinner was